Will brokers be replaced by AI? This seems to be a question that's come up a lot lately. And I had a couple coaching calls in the last week where I've talked about this and I've shared my perspective. And the short answer is yes, some of them will be, and some of them probably need to be. But let me get into this. There's a bigger discussion here. Hey, I'm Scott Peckford. This is the I Love Mortgage Brokering podcast. And each week I bring you conversations with industry experts to help you in your business, or I bring you segments from coaching calls that I've done with our agents. And this week, I'm going to talk about my thoughts on AI, how it's going to affect you in the short and long term, and how to be the winner at the end of the day. How do I be the winner in this whole world that's changing? So I want to tell you, before I jump into it, I want to tell you a quick story about, I love history, and history doesn't repeat itself all the time. And so there was a time when we needed to move goods from Europe to North America and back and forth, we used sailing ships, and it was the way we did it for a long time. And then all of a sudden, this new fandangled, incredible technology came along called the steam engine. And the steam engine made it possible to get across. And the problem with sailing ships is it was dependent on the wind, so the time it took could vary. You also need people to manage those sails at all times, and so you need a big crew. Steamships came along and obviously made a huge impact on the size of the ships that we could move, as well as the number of sailors that we needed. And at that time, there were two types of sailors. There was the sailor who was, hey, I don't like steam engines. Steam engines suck. This is terrible. And they fought it. They ignored it. And ultimately, they got replaced by it. And then there was a second set of sailors who said, this is the new way things are going. I wonder if I could be a sailor, somebody with sailor knowledge and steam engine knowledge. Maybe that would put me in a better place. And the sailors who adopted that mindset ended up thriving and having bigger opportunities. And the reality is that exact same thing's going to happen with AI. AI is coming in. It is a new tool. It's going to open up brand new markets and new ways of doing things that most of us can't even see right now, myself included. And so, but if you are resisting it, you're going to get run over by it. It absolutely. So, but what is it? So what's that look like though in the day to day, the 9 to 5 of our business? So a couple of things that I've observed. One is that consumers are significantly more educated, sort of, but they're also, as you know, AI can give wrong answers. I've said putting questions in them, and I say to it, "That's actually not right." It goes, "Oh, good catch." That's happened numerous times, and I'm an expert in a field, so I'll go in there and I'll ask it tax questions, but I am not trusting it to give me tax advice. I am not going to use it I'm going to still take those questions and go to my accountant and say, I don't want a $300,000 audit, a bill for an audit because of mistakes that a language model said, oh, good catch. You made a mistake on that. And I think it's the same when it comes to these large transactions like mortgages. So I don't think that they're going to completely replace them. However, we're going to have more educated customers, and that's going to continue with commission compression. You're going to make, I believe you're going to make less per file because this compression is going to continue. We've had commission compression. I've been in it since 2006, but we haven't felt it because the loan size has gone up so much that even with this commission compression, we're actually still getting a pay raise with these bigger mortgages. Here's where I think we're going to get the pay raise in the future. It's not going to be per transaction. It's that you're going to see mortgage brokers be able to do a number of mortgages that would have been impossible prior to the adopting of these tools. So there's going to be people crushing, with the team that's small, highly productive teams. I think those people you're going to win. And because at the end of the day, people are still going to want to talk to somebody. They're going to still want to get an opinion on. And if you're good at your job, if you're good at sales, you're good at marketing, there's still a massive opportunity for you in this world, in my opinion. So that's the first thing I would say is that we're going to see commission compression because of the highly educated, the borrower who comes in with better questions than they did in the past. That's okay. That's not a bad thing. But so what does that mean? There's kind of two camps here. There's new people. What's it going to affect the new people? The old guard. How's it going to affect the old guard? I'll talk about those two things separately. And I think that the key thing that I see with it is that there's two types of people in the old guard. The old guard that is like, this is amazing. I can't wait to see how this makes me more productive. And they're going to thrive. Obviously, they've got the wind at their back. They've got momentum. They've got client base. But then there's another old guard, and it's totally understandable. They're kind of like, Scott, I'm done. I'm good. I made my money. I invested it somewhere else. I don't want to work this hard. The thing is that we know, I've been in the business in 2006. There was stuff that we did in 2006 that today would be illegal. Not because it was illegal. It was because the rules have changed so many times. And so what's happening is that you're going to see this, a group of these senior not meaning that you're old. I'm also old. I'm in that camp. But mortgage people who are like, I'm good. I'm out. Peace out. And that's going to create a vacuum for these motivated new people, because the new people have this thing that the experienced people don't. They don't have, messed up expectations. They don't expect it to be any particular way. They don't expect it to be, they just show up. We've got brokers that are at our brokerage that we're coaching that are new in the industry that are crushing it. I did a show recently with this girl named Angela, absolutely crushing it. You could be like, oh my gosh, it's so much harder. Yeah. Doesn't matter. They don't know any different. They just come in and go, what do I need to do? I want to be successful. And they do it. And so because we're going to create a vacuum of these people that are exiting or that are silent quitting, that are slowly winding down, or they're not putting in the energy, these new people are going to come in and take that market share. So I believe you're going to see absolutely a place for the motivated rookie to still make a ton of money and build a great business in this industry going forward. So first thing is, I say commission compression is going to happen. It's going to be real. The second is that I believe we're going to see fewer brokers. I do think where the overall count of brokers is going to go down. I think between the old guard that's going to retire, I think that if you fast forward a couple of years from now, we're going to see, if you were to count the number of outstanding licenses, I think that number is going to go down. But I think the productivity, especially for the people that are on top of this, is going to go up, and they're going to actually make more money. And so this commission compression is a real thing. But here's what I think is for us in particular at Bricks, our mortgage company, and other mortgage companies like us or brokerages like us, is that we have capped commissions, meaning when a broker gets past 100,000 in commission, they go to 100% commission split. We've already paid out, like last year. We've only been around a few years. We did $2.8 billion last year, but we paid out millions and millions of dollars at 100% commission split. I think that just like the borrower is getting more educated, they understand how things work, the broker is becoming more educated, saying, wait a second, what am I paying for? What am I paying these royalties for? What is my overhead? What am I getting for my money? And what you're going to see is brokers are going to start moving towards models where they can be efficient. And our model, because we are not like most brokerages, we don't have office overhead. We have we're profitable even in this, challenging market, because we're not built on the old infrastructure, right? We run a very efficient operation. And because of it, we're able to make money, and our brokers are able to make money. And I believe those type of, and we're not the only one like it. I'm not saying we're not the only one, but brokerages like ours, I think, are going to expand as this market as the agent count starts to contract. That's my opinion on this anyway. If you disagree with me, I'm happy to hear you out. Send me a note. If maybe you got a different perspective, I'd be interested to hear it. As I always say, there's no problem in your mortgage business someone else hasn't already solved. Your problem is who's got the answer. This podcast is designed to provide some of those answers. Thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.